Why do I have to keep going? Why do I have to keep grinding? Why is it that my parents, my coach, and my supporters are the ones telling me I don't need rest? I do need rest. Dad, just give me a day off. I need to recoup. The best players don't have days off. Coach, give me a second. I think I hurt my arm. Let's do some backhands then. It's this asking, this needing for someone else to give me permission to recover that's so dangerous. It's the feeling that I need permission to allow both my mind and my body to heal that leads to the opposite of what I actually need. I'm Jack Dahler, and my question to everybody is, why is an athlete's mental health often overlooked? Raise your hand if you play or have played a sport before. Okay? Now raise your hand if you've either quit your sport or have thought about quitting it at some point. A lot, right? Well, this isn't a coincidence. According to the National Alliance for Youth Sports, 70% of children quit their sport by the time they get to high school. 70%. Is it because you changed your dream? Is it because you thought you weren't good enough? Now, it's okay to change your dream. But if you do so because you lost confidence in yourself, or because you thought you weren't good enough, there's a good chance that's going to haunt you for a long time. Let me tell you my story. I was a 14-year-old tennis player on track to hopefully accomplish many things in my athletic career. I was training 7 hours a day during summer vacation leading into my 8th grade year. And all of a sudden, within the first 2 months of school, I felt a tweak in my back while hitting a forehand. I tried playing for the next 4 months, but I kept getting that horrible, stinging pain in my lower back. I saw my doctor, and he diagnosed me with a stress fracture on my spine, and he shut me down for the next year and a half. Now, I eventually received surgery to help me heal, but my back wasn't the only part of me that was damaged. My spirit and my drive was at an all-time low. I couldn't stop thinking about my dreams vanishing before my eyes and how everyone around me was so lucky to be perfectly healthy, while I was stuck sitting around at home, not being able to play the sport that I loved. I tried to stay a happy kid on the outside to everyone else, but deep down I was feeling embarrassed and frustrated that I wasn't the athlete I used to call myself. Now, we did everything we could to fix me, but nothing worked. So in my freshman year of high school, I received spinal repair surgery. I know, not many 17-year-olds get to say that. But along with that difficult time in my life, I learned a lot about myself and a lot about what athletes constantly go through. First, I learned that while there may not always be a way to get fully back, there's always a way to improve. I started to recover the fun and joy I once had for tennis, the joy that went away when I was training day in and day out. I started to realize that I was playing the sport that I loved. Now, I'm not saying you need an injury to help you think this way, but if you start to remember the reason why you're still doing what you started doing at such a young age, you'll find that it becomes much easier to both enjoy and succeed. Next, I found that being an athlete doesn't define who I am. I used to think that all anybody cared about was my success at tennis, or if I could truly call myself an athlete or not. But I learned I'm much more than that. During my time away from tennis, I started focusing on school and volunteered at nonprofit events. And tennis started to become a hobby again, not something I define myself with. This helped me not only bring the joy back to playing, but it also helped me separate myself from something that brought me so much stress. Finally, I learned to stop comparing. Athletes are the best at comparing themselves to others. Unfortunately, this is one of the most dangerous and unhealthy things that anyone can do. What I learned is that you need to forge your own way, but with a constant goal in mind. You can't stop and think about how much better someone else is than you, or that you'll never get there, or that you need to catch up. For an athlete to succeed, they must make a goal and work towards that goal. For example, playing college basketball, winning a tournament, getting to a certain ranking at the end of the year. The only way to do this is to focus on yourself, not relative to others. I want to talk a little bit about the word grind. It's one of my least favorite words in the English language. Coaches are always saying, keep grinding, grind it out. But this is so harmful. It's like they're wanting you to get burnt out. All success takes hard work. But the key for an athlete, and anyone, is to find joy in that work. You can't think about what you're doing as a grind. That sounds painful, right? If the goal is, I have to succeed in this, and not, I love this, I live for this, then it becomes something painful instead of something that makes you happy. So I've talked about grinding it out and being injured, but an athlete's mental health consists of so much more than that. When an athlete shows emotion on the court or in the arena or on the field, it's frowned upon. They're seen as babies. They're psychotic. They have anger issues. They're bipolar. Next thing I know, they're being shamed and harassed on the media. Former top 10 tennis player Marty Fish once said this: "We're so trained to be mentally tough in sports. To show weakness, we're told, in so many words, is to deserve shame. But I'm here to show weakness, and I'm not ashamed." There's a Netflix documentary about Marty, where he finally gets to explain everything he went through as a professional athlete, including performance anxiety and panic attacks. But there was one disappointing constant that came up during his career. The media shamed him. When he had to back away from a tennis match because of a panic attack, no one sympathized for him. When he never reached the same level as his childhood friend Andy Roddick, he was forever known as Andy's shadow. Most of us know another famous athlete who's gone through mental health struggles. Simone Biles is considered by many to be the greatest gymnast of all time. But with that title comes expectations that are sometimes impossible to live up to. During the 2021 Tokyo Olympic Games, Biles withdrew from 3 events, eventually receiving the bronze medal for her balancing team. Now, this was because of some of her personal mental health issues, but also because of a phenomena called the twisties, which can be very dangerous for gymnasts. But do you think anybody cared about her safety? No. America became angry and frustrated at her. Maybe they had bet on her. Or maybe they were just criticizing her for not being perfect every time she was on the biggest stage in the world. We're trained from such a young age to stay resilient, never show emotion, never show fear. And high school is where those teachings are amplified. But these high school athletes are still kids, and teaching them to bottle everything up, train without rest, keep grinding, not to mention the schoolwork they deal with and the social problems they face every day, it all only damages them. And the part that concerns me the most is that the people damaging them don't even know it's happening. These athletes, for some reason, aren't seen as human. Maybe it's because we know we won't make it to the same level as them, so we see them as role models or higher entities that can do no wrong. Or maybe we want our kids to be exactly like them, so we teach them to show no pain. But athletes do feel pain, and athletes are human. So why should an athlete's mental health be overlooked?